Have you ever used a tool like ChatGPT and had that moment where you're like, how did it know that? It's almost like it's reading your mind. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the magic trick. We're talking about large language models, or LLMs. And this is going to be your simple, jargon-free guide to the AI that is changing, well, pretty much everything. But here is the crazy secret at the heart of it all. The next time an AI gives you a perfect, brilliant answer, I want you to remember this one thing. It has absolutely no idea what it's talking about. None. So how on earth is that even possible? And that big paradox brings us to our first section here, the smart imposter. We're going to try and solve this mystery of how these systems can sound so human, so intelligent, without actually having any real understanding of what they're saying. That whole smart imposter act, it really just boils down to one single idea. These models aren't thinking, they're not reasoning, they are simply predicting. And that one simple mechanic, that's the secret behind all the magic. So what even is a large language model? Okay, imagine you could read the entire internet. I mean, everything. Every book, every Wikipedia page, every angry blog comment. And your only job was to learn the patterns of how people talk. That is exactly what an LLM is. It's a massive pattern recognition engine for human language. And this is really the key difference between us and them. When we talk, we get the meaning, the context, the why. An LLM just sees patterns and calculates probabilities. It's not searching for facts or truth. It's just making a really educated guess about what word should probably come next. Here's a super simple way to think about it. If I show you this sentence, you know the next word is blue. Of course you do. An LLM does the same thing, but it's only because it's analyzed millions of poems and songs where the words violets are followed by blue. It's just recognizing a pattern it's seen over and over again. You know, you already use this technology every single day. Just think about the predictive text on your phone. An LLM is that exact same idea, just completely supercharged. It's trained on almost all the text humanity has ever digitized. It really is autocomplete on steroids. Okay, but if it's just predicting the next word, how does it write a whole paragraph that actually makes sense from start to finish? Well, that question leads us to the secret sauce, the technology that turns these simple predictions into something that sounds so coherent. The secret is an incredible piece of AI architecture called transformers. And no, it's got nothing to do with the movies. This is the technology that gives the model a sense of context, letting it string all those individual words together in a way that feels logical and, well, human. So let's look at a classic example of how this works. In the sentence, "The cat sat on the mat because it was tired." We know that it is the cat. I mean, a tired mat doesn't make any sense. But how does a machine figure that out? This is the brilliant part about transformers. They let the model look at all the words in a sentence and weigh their importance to each other. So the AI learns that in this context, the pronoun it is almost certainly linked to cat, not mat. That ability to track context is what makes the final output sound so impressively real. All right, so now that we get how they work, let's talk about what they can actually do. And just as important, where they completely fall on their face. Because this tech is incredibly powerful, but it is also seriously flawed. And look, their skills are amazing. They can answer your questions, write your emails, summarize huge documents, generate computer code, and they're even getting really good at translating languages, like from Hindi to English and back again. The list goes on and on. But here is the catch, the one thing we always have to remember. They don't think. They don't know anything. They only predict. And this one limitation is the source of all of their biggest weaknesses. This leads to three huge problems. First, they hallucinate. That means they just make stuff up, but they say it with total confidence because it sounds plausible. Second, they have inherited flaws. They reflect all the junk, all the imperfections and biases that were in the human data they were trained on. And third, there's the knowledge cutoff. Most of these models have no idea what happened yesterday, let alone last year. You know, all of this leads to a much deeper, almost philosophical way of looking at this technology. If these models are just made from our words and our patterns, then what are they really showing us when they talk back? And this, I think, gets right to the heart of it. LLMs don't replace us. They reflect us. Every cool poem, every smart idea, every bit of creativity it shows is just a reflection of the human creativity it learned from in the first place. They're basically mirrors, and they're holding up a reflection of humanity's collective knowledge, our shared creativity, and yeah, our collective imperfections too. It's all learned from the gigantic digital footprint we've all left behind. This is just such a powerful way to think about it. When you're chatting with an AI, you're not talking to some new alien mind. You're actually talking to a mathematical echo of everything we, as a species, have ever bothered to write down. So, if you walk away from this with just one single thought, let it be this one. Large language models do not understand the world, they just predict the next word. But they've read so much about our world that their predictions can feel an awful lot like real intelligence. And that leaves us with a final, really important question. If this powerful new technology is fundamentally a mirror of us, trained on our words and our ideas, what do we actually want to see when we look into it? What version of ourselves do we want it to show us?